Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to something different here. I've got my man Kush here from The Hub, one of the most underrated channels on YouTube in my opinion. I'll leave his channel link in the description below. But what's going on, Kush? How you been, buddy?
What's up, man? What's up, YouTube? You guys know me if you do. I only got about only a couple hundred. I'm on the come up though.
Yeah,
For
man.
those of y'all that don't know, you know what I'm saying? My boy Kid Blue over here was a great inspiration for me when I first started off on YouTube. Dudes like him, like him, the entertainer, Bad Dog, all that. But Kid Blue, a guy that's around my age relatively, I saw him just doing videos, giving his opinion. He didn't really have anything fancy in the beginning. I was like, you know what, I can do that. And he gave his really good opinions too. So, you know what, shout out to Kid Blue, because this guy right here, had it not been for him, I don't think I would have even hopped on with my Blue microphone and whatnot and done what I do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man, because it means a lot having somebody say that, you know? So,
Yeah.
but man, you hit me up, I think 2 days ago, wanted to get a collab going, and here we are right now, man. And in a tough spot because I would wish we were talking about the Giants and their playoff run, but that's not the
Oh, man.
that's not the case whatsoever. So right now we have to talk about how bad our Giants suck. So so I would like to start off with you because I think a lot of my subscribers pretty much know my opinion. So I'd like to start off with you, man. What are your thoughts right now? We're in the bye week. This is a kind of a chance for the fans to kind of, I don't know, start realizing what's going on with this team and what we should do moving forward. So I'd like to get your opinion on what do you think the Giants are right now, and what do you think they should do moving forward?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on the Giants, but I guess I could start off a bit simple and kind of a little bit off kilter a little bit in terms of the placing of our bye week this year. At first, I didn't like that we had a later bye week. Like usually, the past couple years, we had a bye week that fell almost smack dab in the middle of the season, which in my opinion is the best because it's like literally you can do the first half and the second half, get some nice rest in between. And it's kind of a blessing in disguise to have it this late because we're 10 games in, and I'm pretty sure everybody realizes, hey, we're kind of out of it right now. We're kind of wild card pitcher. I don't think any team out of the NFC is getting a wild card with an 8-8 record, which is the best we can get at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got the Rams out there battling the Seahawks, 49ers maybe if they start losing a bit more because they just lost to the Seahawks, I believe. But it's nice to have the bye week this late because I feel like it gives fans a lot of time to just realize that this year is kind of over in terms of trying to win and stuff like that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to say that because at the beginning of the year, you go back, you look at some of my vids from the beginning of the season, all that. I was a firm believer this was going to be like an 8-8, 9-17, and like I said, best case scenario right now is that we are 8-8. Never count anything out. Anything can happen on any Sunday. But let's be realistic for a second. I don't think this team is going 8-8. At this point, I see us going maybe 4-4, 5-11. I mean, 4-12, 5-11 at best, and it's kind of revealed a lot more problems about the team that I didn't realize were there before. I thought we were set on the offensive line. I thought we were gonna have some more pieces on the defense to develop than we actually do, so on and so forth. Like it just revealed a lot of problems and gave me a lot of stuff to reflect on with these last 6 weeks going into the season, like going to finish the season.
Man, and I was feeling the same way. I had the mindset that the Giants were still building, but they were trying to win. I felt like maybe 7-9 would be a good record for us, but obviously that's probably not going to happen. Um, but I mean, as far as the Giants go right now, I mean, yeah, they have some pieces in place, and it's so confusing. It's so confusing as a Giants fan right now because we don't know where we don't really have a direction right now. We don't know if we're going to be trending down or going up. We have a lot of pieces in place. We have a very, very, very young defense that's very bad right now, but you could see the potential in them. But I mean, what do the Giants have to do in this last part of the season and in the offseason, like what do we have to do to move forward? What do we have to do to get better as a team?
That's a tough question, and I have an answer that a lot of people won't like. Um, in fact, I didn't like it. There's a lot of things about this season that I don't like, right? And my
Mm-hmm.
answer to that question is one that I hated before. Like I would never consider it, but I really do think that at this point we need to. I hate to use the tank word, but I think we gotta head into that military device and start tanking, man. Because at this point, no, like seriously though, and
Mm-hmm.
although I did see an article today about Chase Young being suspended or something like that, I don't keep up with college football that much, I'll
Okay.
admit. But my idea on tanking is not specifically to get Chase Young or whatnot. It's to get either A, the best offensive lineman possible, because right now we only have two good offensive linemen on our team, Kevin Zeitler and Will Hernandez. And even
Mm-hmm.
then, at times, Zeitler has been on and off. Hernandez has also been on and off. He gets a little more penalties than I would like him to get. To be honest with you, I
Oh
do like
yeah.
the feistiness, but sometimes I think to myself he needs to grow up a bit and mature a bit more because it seems like he's taking a fight with almost everybody on the field, especially that Dallas game. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I like it, but I feel like you need to control some of that. And other than that, we're missing three pieces on the offensive line, or we can get a pass rusher, whether it be a linebacker or a three tech defensive lineman. You could argue we did that with Leonard Williams. I will see how that plays out. That is yet to be decided. Or I guess one of the best case scenarios, which probably won't happen, is we get like say the second pick again or something like that, and maybe we could trade down and gather some other picks, maybe two first rounders. I'm not sure. I will have to check this year if there is any team with two first rounders. I think do the
Uh,
Raiders
co-
have any left over from when they traded Mack and
I'm not sure about
Cooper?
the Raiders, but I know the Dolphins have three first round picks.
Yeah, the Dolphins definitely. And depending how they go, they might want to trade back up and get. I don't know, but
Yeah.
those are like the scenarios I'm looking at. I'm not looking at any specific player, but the tanking thing isn't just for the first round. I mean, it's football. You have 7 rounds, and in each of those rounds, you're gonna have a good pick. If the worst you do, and I said I didn't like it because I don't like to go out there and watch my team lose. I go
Mm-hmm.
out there every Sunday and I watch games and I cheer for them to win.
Yeah.
But the hard part of the situation is that's what we've been doing for the past like what 4 or 5 years, excluding 2016, and that's what Giants fans have been believing that oh no, we should not be tanking. We're the Giants or like we're a team that should be going out there and winning. We should go out there with a winning mentality, and then we end up winning 5, 6, 7 games. Well, not seven, mostly 6 or 5, and then we get a pick, and that pick turns out to be a waste. Like, be honest, excluding the Gettleman drafts because that's part of the rebuild. We all know in the Jerry Reese drafts, we didn't really keep anybody from those first rounds, from the
Exactly.
first rounders that we
Any
drafted.
rounds
You know what I'm
really.
saying? So
Any rounds. We always
any
cut
rounds,
everybody.
really, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like, guys, we gotta kind of swallow the pill here. What's the worst that can happen? If we get a good pick,
Mm-hmm.
because there's gonna be some time in April where we might be thanking, the team like, oh, thank God we have, I don't know, the second overall pick. Chase Young is looking like a stud, or this lineman, this O line, this offensive tackle out of Bama is looking like a stud, and thank God we're here. We don't have to worry about anybody jumping us or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's my view on it right now. That's my view on it right now, and we got to spend in the off season. We got
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
money. We
Mm-hmm.
got to spend in the off season. We need to cut guys like Ogletree. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure about Jenkins. I'm really not. Janoris Jenkins, whether or not we should cut him is a toss up for me because he has performed well since the Buccaneers game. He has, but at
Okay.
the same time, there's been performance issues out of him in terms of like how motivated he is.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely saw that with that just horrendous effort on the field against Dallas to make a tackle against I don't know if it was Blake Jarwin or somebody else that went in for a touchdown. He was right there and he just put his right arm out and that's all he did.
Oh
He didn't
yeah.
really lunge or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. I know. I forgot what game
Yeah,
that
so
was. Yeah.
that was Dallas, but I can't remember
Dallas.
against what
Yeah. I think that was
I
Blake
can't remember
Jarwin.
which player.
It was Jarwin.
Yeah, against Blake Jarwin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like it's a toss up. We've seen him perform really well, and then we've seen him had terrible games like the Buccaneers and games where he's just not motivated at all. You know what I
But
mean?
if
But
say they somebody were to offer you a third round pick for Janoris, are you taking it?
oh, most definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't think we're getting anything better than the third. I think third round is like the utmost ceiling
Yeah, that
somebody
would be
would
the
give for
utmost.
Jenkins
That
at
would
this
be the
point.
best possible scenario. But I'm saying, like, if somebody were to say, "Hey, I'll give you a third round pick for him," you would probably take it, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely take it because we do have, as weird as it sounds, because the defensive backfield is probably our weaker position on the field. We
Yeah.
do have a plethora of defensive backs there, and
Mhm.
they're all guys that need to develop.
Yes.
I'm sure, like maybe half of them will turn out to be busts like 2 3 years down the line. But guess what? We won't know until we try it. We won't
Mhm.
know until we put them out there. You know what I mean? And shit, still haven't seen Julian Love out there. We've been seeing Corey Ballantyne these past couple of weeks a little bit.
Mhm.
Sam Beal came in, but honestly, that was a joke that they put him in towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because Jenkins, he has a concussion, doesn't he?
Yeah. As of right now, he is in concussion protocol. I don't know if they actually diagnosed him for one, but I know he left that game, being evaluated for one.
Yeah. I mean, man, in general, injuries and concussions, man. Talk about ruining somebody's career and talk about bad luck for the Giants. That right there, that one word,
I know.
concussion.
I mean, there's so many concussed players, man. I'm concussed. I'm concussed with how much players are concussed.
Yo,
But I
oh
wanted
man, that
what happened?
what do you think what do you think, man? What do you think we should do, for the off season and the rest of
Oh,
the season generally?
oh well. In my honest opinion, it's hard to say because I feel like we're on the right track, but it's just not working. You know what I mean? Like I feel like what Dave Gettleman has done in these past two drafts have been what you're supposed to do. But as of right now, I mean, we just need better coaching. Honestly, if there's one thing I want in this next year is an improvement of coaching, whether that be new people or whether Pat Shermer gets his head out of his butt and starts, being an actual head coach and making good decisions. I want an offensive coordinator. I want James Betcher to figure out this defense and what he has on the field because I feel like James Betcher doesn't know what he has. I feel like he doesn't know how to
Yeah,
use his players. He's using these inexperienced players to blitz, these inexperienced cornerbacks to blitz. I mean, they're not used to blitzing. You got these linebackers, David Mayo and all these other guys, expecting them to blitz and, expecting them to be in these crazy coverages. Antoine Bethea can't play center fielder for life, for anything. And, he's mostly the guy playing center fielder. I mean,
yeah.
if you want to play that cover three that we always play, if you want to play that cover one that we always play, we run a lot of single high safety looks. At least throw Julian Love in there. Like you have to know your personnel. I don't think it's
Yeah.
James. I'll tell you right now. I do not think it's James Betcher's scheme. I like his scheme. In Arizona, it worked great. It was because he knew who he had over there. It's the personnel. He doesn't understand the personnel that we have. He thinks he can, run the same scheme he's run in Arizona with less talent, and that just can't happen.
Hmm.
Jabril Peppers is one of our best players on defense. And you got Marcus Golden. You got a couple guys in there, and Ryan Connolly before he got hurt. But you really can't do much with, a Grant Haley, who I don't think is terrible, but just not great. Grant Haley, David Mayo, Antoine Bethea, DeAndre Baker's not getting the playbook. I mean, they're the
Don't
coaching.
even get me started on that playbook comment, man. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
ridiculous,
That
ridiculous.
playbook comment kind of sums up the entirety of our coaching situation this year.
Yes,
It
yes.
seems like nobody understands the playbook. And that's why when the comments came out, like, of course I was kind of angry and disappointed and confused more than anything. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I was like, you know what? I can see that. I can see that like half of the defense don't know what they're doing, and that the offensive line sure don't know what they're doing on the other side of the field. Like,
Mhm.
so Baker, man, maybe that was another blessing in disguise. Maybe I don't know. Honestly, the coaching this year has been terrible, and I completely agree with you. I think is that we don't have the personnel on the defensive side, and part of it is that Betcher doesn't know what he has. But that brings us back to the point that you've mentioned in multiple videos
Mhm.
that I brought up just a couple minutes ago. In order to know your personnel, why not put them out there on the field? Why not put people like Julian Love out there on the field? Why
Yeah.
not put these guys? Like I said, the season is lost.
Yeah.
There's no real detriment to putting all these guys out there and see what you have.
And it's crazy, right? Because the Giants, especially Pat Shermer, have it all backwards. I mean, they don't want to play their inexperienced players because what? They're afraid of them to fail. Like, you don't want to put
Hmm.
Corey Ballantine out there for what? You don't want to put Julian Love out there for what? But then you have Saquon Barkley out there who's not 100%, and he's in a season that's already lost. Like, they're doing everything backwards. You're playing your injured players before you're playing your inexperienced players. It doesn't make any sense. Saquon is hurt. He's our star. I get it, but this season's a loss. Why are you playing? Why are you playing your best player out there in a loss and he's beat up? But yet they don't want to play.
Yeah,
But yet they don't want to play Julian Love because what? Because what? He's a rookie. I mean, throw him out there.
he's supposed he's supposed to fail.
Exactly.
That's what a rookie is.
Exactly.
Being a rookie and learning one of the hardest positions in the NFL. I don't get this. Why do we give a pass to quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could argue that media outside of New York Giants media have not been, because they sure definitely have been hating on Jones the minute he stepped in. But in general, right, we give a pass to quarterbacks when it's their rookie years, really like their first 2-3 years. For me, I started judging a quarterback in like year 4. I'm like, by that point, you know what you got in a quarterback by year 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
first like 2 years are like major development. Third year is where they take that next step. Fourth year, you know what you got. We give a pass to the quarterbacks. Why can't we give a pass to literally any other position on the field? Because it's the same thing. There's
Yeah,
different difficulties and different tiers to learning it, but they're all learning it.
for sure. And
And that's what that's what I gotta say. That
yeah, defensive back is one of the hardest position to play, especially the cornerback position. You look at Julian Love, who struggled in the preseason. I think that's one of the reasons why they're not playing Julian Love, which makes no sense. But yeah, he struggled in the preseason just a bit. He was playing the slot and lost his job to Grant Haley, but doesn't mean he shouldn't get any playing time. I mean, you look at any other rookie at any other position, they're all going to struggle. And on top of that, cornerback is the second hardest position to play, in my opinion, in the NFL. You got quarterback first, then cornerback. I mean, how hard? It's extremely hard to play cornerback. You're playing on one player, you're focusing on one player, and he can make one move and you're totally gone. It's so hard to be a reactionary player, to be reactionary to what somebody else is doing. But
yeah, definitely.
I want to shift the focus on the Pat Shermer. We're talking about coaching, we're talking about James Betcher, but I want to shift the focus on the Pat Shermer because a lot of people have their own mixed opinions on Pat Shermer, and all of it's understandable. A lot of people
I'm sure
to
you've
see,
known mine.
yeah, a lot of people want
Yeah.
Pat Shermer gone immediately. They want him gone, right off the cuff. Um,
Hmm.
but I would say that if Pat Shermer were to be fired now, I don't think I would care. But I don't want to see it happen yet. I want to keep him around for at least next season to see what we have. Get an offensive coordinator in there and see how good Pat Shermer is with just being a head coach and just having those opportunities to be a head coach and not have to worry about calling the plays and then when he should call a timeout, because obviously that was a big problem for him in that Jets game. So
Man, even since last year, he's been having troubles with just time management. Like
yeah,
that's been a problem for him like for a while now.
yeah, and on
But
top of that, he was in the press conference talking about the game, saying that he wished he could have had all three of his timeouts. Like, I mean, yeah, you called them with 5 minutes left to go in the game, so
right, that was so stupid.
uh,
That literally makes no sense. Like I always talk about how like obviously in the heat of the moment and stuff when I do my reaction to these Giants games, I always say, man, I can do a better job than Pat Shermer,
mm-hmm.
but anybody could have done a better job with time management there. With
Oh
before the 2 minute
man.
warning,
Anybody
before you
that
even hit the
anybody
four
that
minute
plays
mark,
Madden.
like
I mean, anybody like I think we learned those
right,
type of skills in Madden. Like, you could play Madden, you could play head to head against somebody. You even know when to call a timeout in a video game. Like, how can you not know how to
exactly.
when to call a timeout in a real game? I mean, it makes no sense, man.
I found that like as it was happening too, I actually thought like I couldn't believe it at first. When the first time I was called, I was like, okay, you know what? He's calling one of his first time outs now. Maybe he'll just let them run it down to the 2 minute warning. Second time I was called, I was like, he better have something fresh from the cookbook lined up here. And then the third time I was called out, I kid you not, I almost turned off my TV. And at that point, I was so fed up. I started setting up my computer to start recording the video because I was like, it's over. At that point, I was like, it's over.
Ridiculous, man. I think there
But
was
Pat Shermer,
4:40 left to go on the clock in the last timeout. Crazy.
yeah. But on that topic of Pat Shermer,
Mm-hmm.
as much it might be surprising to you and some people are listening because I've been very outspoken since actually I can pinpoint the week that I gave up on Pat Shermer. And you could argue it was too early at that point for sure. But to be honest with you, I've lost confidence in him since the Titans game last year, which I think was the height of all Giants ineptitude, the Titans game last year,
Yeah.
in coaching and players, whatever you want to call it. But I've been fed up with him since then. And after the Bills game, I think it was, or yeah, after the Bills game, I lost a lot of confidence in him. Then we had the little 2 game win streak, and then we lost again. And I was like, all right, this guy needs to go. So really, I kind of gave up on him early,
Yeah, it's
and I wanted him
understandable.
gone. Yeah, and I've wanted him gone since, but and I've been outspoken about that. Yeah, I find myself agreeing with you. I think we need on another year. I really do. He hasn't him and really the entire Gettleman coaching staff and Gettleman himself. They're in a rebuild. They've been here for a rebuild. They've been hired to rebuild a team. I don't think you can name any one team in the NFL that's been rebuilt in 2 years. And for
Exactly.
like that, I could list other reasons, but for that reason alone is
Mm-hmm.
why I would have to be fair and I have to give these guys at least another year because the fastest rebuilt in recent memory you could argue was probably the Seahawks, right? From the Legion of Boom, the end of the Legion of Boom in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
to honestly, you could say this year or last year, so that would be a 3 to 4 year time period, and they rebuilt that thing like that, man, as like quickly as possible, and that's the Seahawks. They already had an amazing foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We're the Giants. We've had a terrible foundation, calling it, as it is. We've had a terrible foundation this entire decade. So
I'll
I
throw another
cannot
one
just go
out.
out there.
I'll throw another one at you
Yeah.
too. The Los Angeles Rams. They were
Oh
terrible.
yeah.
They were terrible without Sean McVay. I believe the first year with Sean McVay, boom, they were already. That tells how
They were in the
how
playoffs.
far. Yeah, that tells how far they went to the Super Bowl. That was it. Wasn't that his first year?
No, that was his second
His
year.
second year. But I
Yeah.
mean, that shows how far coaching goes.
Yeah. And that right there is a great point as to why we should get rid of Ty Sherman, why we should hire
Exactly.
somebody else.
Mhm.
But another thing that just like drags me down for the fact we got to keep him, development of Daniel Jones, and the fact that now is the first true off season where they're gonna have like complete control of everything because
Mhm.
of the cap space.
Yeah.
Because well, they've had complete control of the draft, but this is really the first time where they could be great participants in free agents. And when they first came in, and this past year they haven't had much money to spend. They're about to get like I don't know where it's ranked in terms of most money
Mhm.
to spend in the league. It's definitely top 10 or something like that, and that's the first time they're gonna have that chance. After 2020, I think they're definitely gone if we don't see some type of improvement. We need to be above 500 for them to keep their jobs after 2020, in my opinion. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think next year we have to be competitive. I'm not gonna be the person to sit here and I'm rushing the Giants to make sure. No, you gotta win the Super Bowl next year. No, I want to see improvement. You gotta be at least 8-8. You gotta be at least 8-8 next season. You gotta do something. And I know Giants fans may be like, oh well, we went 4-12 this year. Why do you want them to go 4-8-8? Because the third year of rebuilding with two really good drafts. I mean, we had really good
Yeah.
drafts. We're able to get
If
a
there's
lot of
one
production
thing,
out of everybody. Mm-hmm.
yeah, if there's one thing you can definitely comment Gettleman on, it's his drafting ability. He surprised me on his drafting ability. I think surprised everybody. It's just his free agency where he's been hit or miss,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. And I've been extremely excited every time, the past two drafts. Even after Daniel Jones, I was excited about what he was going to pull in the later rounds. We struck gold with Julian Love getting him all the way down in the fourth or something like that. And then we also got Ryan Connolly, Darius Slayton,
And
a lot of these
the
guys,
fourth
man.
to sixth rounds were all just him striking gold.
Oh
Four, five,
yeah.
six.
Oh
No,
yeah.
actually, you could argue third to sixth round because
Mhm.
O'Shane has been really good when he's on the field, but they don't give
Yes.
him much chances on the field.
That's
You know,
that's a
so
great point. That's a great point, and this year I'm gonna be extremely excited about what he's gonna do. So I'm not worried about that part, and that's why I'm saying we're building this team the right way. And I know we're not. Dave Gettleman doesn't know what he's doing too much on free agency. With the money he's spending on these guys. Kareem Martin was getting like starter money, man. I think he was getting like over just about $6 million when we signed him a year. So and
What
Kareem
what even
Martin's.
happens? Is he still on the team?
I don't. I'll
Is
be
he
on.
still? What is
Man, I'll
happening?
be honest with you. I
I
have no
don't know.
clue. I have no. I don't. I don't
Exactly.
see him on
I
the field.
I have no idea. It's I don't like I can go check the roster or something, but the fact that we don't know if he's on the team and he's still getting paid this money
Mm-hmm.
speaks volumes.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. He may have been cut. I'm not sure. But and then Nate Solder as well, man. And Nate Solder, uh, I get why we paid him that money because he was a top tackle at the time. But man, you got to figure out a way to restructure that because at this point nobody's gonna trade for him. I mean, anybody could just watch him on film and see how much he gets paid, and nobody's gonna trade for him. I don't even think a championship team would trade for him just to get a tackle in there to win a Super Bowl. Um,
I can't see a team no matter how desperate trading for him.
mhm.
But then again, I guess to play devil's advocate, the Washington Redskins did sign Eric Flowers, so there are stupid teams out there that will make some stupid decisions. Okay,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't see him going anywhere, man. And
yeah,
the only the only positive sign on his end is that he was willing to restructure his contract at the beginning of this year, but I don't know if he's going to do it again.
yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I'm hoping that we can do something, man. Because there's Andrew Thomas out of Georgia in this upcoming draft, and people are wondering, we should throw him in at if we do draft him, throw him in at left or right tackle. Because I mean, why are you really gonna put Nate Solder to the right side and let Andrew Thomas play left or whatever? Um,
That would be, I mean, if we get a really good left tackle out of the draft, I would
mhm,
say move shoulder to right. I mean, right tackle is an easier position to play. That's not saying any position on the offensive line is easy to play or any
mhm,
position in football really, but
yeah,
if we're gonna be honest, I think right tackle is way easier than left tackle to play. You know what I mean? And if Solder struggles there, if we do move him there,
mhm,
uh, bro, I would just cut him straight up. I would take the cap hit and cut him straight up. For real. No,
yeah,
like there's like at some point it's like at some point you gotta take drastic action. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And
mhm,
man, I wouldn't be too mad if we honestly I would not be too mad if we cut him this off season. But and it will be a big cap that I don't know what like 18 million or something like that, maybe
something
more.
like that. Yeah,
I don't have the number like off the top of my head, $18 million cap hit for like next year. But man, Nate Solder, bro, he's just man, this Giants offensive line has been the greatest fluke of the year.
oh
You know, just
yeah,
kind of, I guess,
oh man,
little, just kind of shifting the conversation a bit.
mhm.
The first 4 weeks, the greatest fluke I've ever seen in modern day football, other than Johnny Manziel, bro. This Giants offensive line, and I'm saying it was the greatest fluke because whenever I did my preview videos for those first 4 weeks, they were consistently ranked top 10 in pass protection, run blocking, you know what I'm saying, opening holes, any
Mhm.
offensive line category that's positive you could think of. The first 4 weeks, the Giants O-line was ranked top 10, and the first three, they were ranked top 5. And then after that, after the Minnesota game, they were exposed. Everything fell apart, and what are they now, like 27th or something like that? I have no idea.
I
But the
can't
greatest
remember,
fluke
but
this season.
yeah, I mean, that was the one thing I was holding on to this season, man. That was the one thing I was holding on to. The defense was terrible. Our wide receivers were banged up. We had the quarterback problems with Eli, but there was one thing, and we had no pass rush at the time either. But one thing I was really looking forward to and really excited about this season was the offensive line. I was excited to see them opening up holes for Saquon the first 2 weeks of the season. But ever since after the Tampa game, which we played well in the Tampa game, but then Saquon got hurt. Ever since then, the offensive line has been just terrible. You could even argue against the Washington Redskins. I mean, they played a good game against the Washington Redskins, but they still allowed pressure and sacks and things like that. I don't think Daniel Jones was sacked against the Redskins, but they still allowed a lot of pressure. But man, it just seems like we're back to square one. We're back to square one. We've been trying to fix this offensive line for how many years now? We thought we actually did it, and now we're bad again. So, and the defense is having problems. I mean, it's like it just feels like we're back to square one.
And like you could argue we're
Mhm.
at square zero, man, because of how bad the defense is.
For
Like
sure.
square one would literally be, oh, we got to fix the offense, but hey, we
Yep.
got some offensive weapons and that defense ain't that bad. No, it's hey, we got to fix the offensive line. We
Yep.
got like two weapons on the offense, you know what I'm saying? And we got like or the defense player that was making the most plays for us got injured. all that. Like the defense is just straight trash. Okay,
Yeah.
if we could be completely honest here, the defense is so bad when they're bad because it's a paradox really. They're inconsistent. I mean, they're consistently inconsistent. If that
Yes.
makes any sense.
Yeah, I say that all the
This
time.
this that
Consistently inconsistent.
yeah, it's such a paradox. It makes no sense. And when they're low, they're extremely low, and
Hmm.
when they're good, they're like it's like night and day. That Patriots game I will always go back to. And the first half of that Dallas game, that defense played out of their mind.
Hmm.
But man, because of the fact they're so inconsistent, I just have to label them as a bad defense. No
Yeah.
good defense is inconsistent. No matter how good you are when you're good, if you're bad like every like 2 plays or something, you're bad. Like
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
and one thing I will say is that this defense, I mean, well, the team in general has fight to them. They suck. I'll say that as right now, this whole team sucks, but it's not like they don't have any heart. Granted, there are some people that don't look like they're trying. Janoris Jenkins for one, a couple other guys that don't seem like they care. But most of the team, they're playing with heart, man. They just unfortunately they suck, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
they'll fight in this game, the Patriots game, the first half of the Dallas game. A couple of other games where I was just really, really like,
The Detroit game,
yeah, they
even though they
fought.
tore us up in the run game,
Mm-hmm.
the Detroit game was a relatively good performance from the defense.
Yeah, and they were fighting in that game, man. I'll tell you right now, the best, my most proudest moment in this season so far was against that Patriots game. Yes, we wound up getting blown out, but we kept that game so close for so long. Marcus Golden, Lorenzo
I don't
Carter, these guys did not quit, man, until they
that
broke at the end of the game.
that Patriots game was amazing.
I know.
To keep it real
I was so
simple, right?
excited, man. I was
That
so excited.
that Patriots game, let's keep it real, was amazing. Okay, and because of how amazing it was, that Patriots game is probably the game that makes me like the angriest ever whenever I think about it. Because let's be honest, um, rep and Patriots getting easy calls,
Mhm.
and somehow, some way, the NFL isn't rigged. And I put quotation marks because at the end of the game, they ended up filling being the requirement for the over under the game or something like that, right? When
Mhm.
like I think it was like with a minute and a half left, they weren't going to meet the requirement for the over under. Patriots score another 2 touchdowns, and all of a sudden, it's exactly what the betters like bet
Yep.
on basically. And
Yep.
that's the only time I will point this out. But somebody brought it up to me. I think it was in my on one of my Instagram pages or something, and I was like, I did not notice that. And I mean, it is the Patriots. I will
Yeah, it
never
is the
count
Patriots.
anything out like underhanded with the Patriots,
Yeah.
but that game makes me so angry, man. That game makes me so angry, and I don't like to blame stuff like on like crazy stuff like that. I don't like to blame it on the refs. I don't like to blame it on some type of outside interference.
Mhm.
But that game, man. What do you think about it? Did you know about that? Like how like they had like only like a minute or 2 minutes or something like that left to fulfill that betting requirement, and then all of a sudden it was fulfilled.
There are a couple of games, not just with the Patriots and the Giants, just games in general, because I follow the spreads a lot, and a lot of these
Yeah,
games come within the spread, like the Los Angeles versus Seattle game. You know that game where Seattle, either Seattle won by a point or something like that, or who won by? It was Seattle that won by a point. Um,
yeah.
and the spread was at 1.5, I believe. So there's a lot of games that go
That's
straight to the spread.
there's
Yeah.
been a lot of games this year too. I've been noticing this year specifically. Like it's almost as if what is it, Vegas? It's almost as
Yeah.
if they say, hey man, they haven't been noticing us doing it like a little less
Yeah.
before. Let's just go all out. And to be honest, nobody's talking about it. So I mean, if that's what's happening, Vegas is having a good. What can I say?
Yeah, man.
Got a little conspiracy theorists out here, Giants fans.
But as far as goes, final thoughts here. What do you think this Giants team is gonna do the rest of the
Um,
season? I mean, do you have any expectations? Is there anything you want to see from this team before the season ends?
what? Final thoughts of the rest of the season. Rest of the
Hmm.
season, what I hope to see is I hope to see Pat Shermer improve in coaching. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win any games. It just means that we're going to see a bit more diverse play calling,
Mm-hmm.
a little less of stale Pat, as I believe Entertainer calls him stale Pat. I don't know if he calls him that anymore. He needs to bring that nickname back.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
did that
yeah.
last year a lot. I hope I see less of stale Pat, and I want to see more. Oh my God, there's something that's really annoys me is that Pat Shermer has no emotion at all ever. Whether he's talking in a press conference, whether he's on the sideline, this dude just
And it's
has
not
like
even like
he
a
just
Bill
really
Belichick charming. It's not even like you like that.
no.
Bill
It's a no.
Belichick.
It grates on my nerves
Yeah, it
the
just
way
makes you want
like
to
he
punch
is.
him. It makes you want to punch him.
Exactly, you remember when Bad Dog said he wanted to punch Pat? Oh my God,
Pat
I say
Sherman
it,
in
it's
the punch.
happening to me. He wanted to punch Pat Shermer in the throat and watch him
Yeah,
choke.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's how his expression makes me feel sometimes, legitimately.
Yeah, man.
But getting back to the point, I hope to see better coaching. I hope to see more players on the field that we haven't seen,
Mhm.
because that's how you know your personnel, and that's all I'm asking for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They couldn't have said it any better. I just want to see better coaching. This coaching staff not only has to prove it to Dave Gettleman, but to the fans. I mean, let us have some confidence going into next season saying James Betcher knows what he's doing. Pat Shermer knows what he's doing. And I'm sorry, but they cannot go forward with Pat Shermer if they don't have an offensive coordinator that's going to be calling the plays.
Yeah,
You have to have an offensive coordinator calling the plays. And then we'll see what we get from Pat Shermer. I don't want to go into next year with Pat Shermer calling the plays, no offensive coordinator, and James Betcher doing the same nonsense he's doing. Otherwise, just fire all of them, all at the same time. I
yeah,
mean, Dave Gettleman needs to and I believe in Dave Gettleman. I don't believe his job is on the line whatsoever. I think he put the pieces in place. It's up to It's up to the coaching staff to make it work. That's not Dave Gettleman's job. He has done his job. So I think Dave Gettleman stays. He needs to fire. He needs to find some better people, some better coaches, and maybe we can get this show on the road. But man, that's what I want to see. And for the rest of the season, I want to see something to give me confidence in this coach. I'm not asking for W's. I'm not asking for wins.
yeah.
I'm asking for confidence into next season.
For
Show me good
for
clock
improvement,
management.
honestly.
Yeah, just show me some
Yeah,
good
for
clock
improvement.
management.
Yeah, like improvement doesn't necessarily equal wins. Improvement means hey, you're trending in the right direction.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
that's what I want to see from the coaching staff.
How about calling your timeouts within 2 minutes? How about that? That's a good start.
My God, yo,
how about giving your
that's
team
that
giving
that
your
would be
offense
the
a chance to
perfect
score?
spot.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Shermer knowing how to use his timeouts. Oh my God, A+ performance, perfect spot from Pat Shermer right there, man.
Oh man, I'll tell you, man.
But yeah, that's tough to ask from him though. It really
Yeah,
is.
it is. But we're gonna wrap this up now, Kush. It's been awesome talking to you, brother. I want to try to do
Thank you,
this.
man.
Yeah, I want to try to do this a lot more, man. I would try to get some more collabs
Yo,
going.
hopefully we can do this for a podcast. I would love to do this on one of your podcasts.
Oh yeah, for
Are
sure.
you ever gonna bring back Undrafted Analyst?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying to work out the kinks right now. Right now, it's getting really busy. I'm being really busy at work, so. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work it out.
Understandable, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure for sure. I've always said this that I'm gonna have you on there, consistently as probably even a regular host with me, man. But yeah,
Hey, honestly, that would be amazing.
yeah,
Like
man.
straight up,
Fantastic
not even
content.
from a creator standpoint, but from a fan standpoint of you, man, that would be amazing. That would be
I
amazing. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that, man. But yeah, it's awesome talking to you. And your channel is definitely underrated. I love what you got going on over there. So guys, if you guys are interested, you guys like what you hear, make sure you guys go on to the description and make sure you guys sub up my man Kush from the Hub. And yeah, hopefully we can start doing this more. Any last words you gotta say, buddy?
No, that's about it, man. Thank you for having me on. It's been an honor. Despite all the technical difficulties, I'm sure that nobody on YouTube will see. Guys, there's been a lot of technical difficulties today that we had to work through to get this going. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's been great. And like you said, I would love to be back on. Love to talk a bit more. And yeah, man. Hopefully this Giants team can just do the two simple things that we both ask of them. That's Hey man, as Giants fan, we suffered for so long, and I
Yeah.
don't count 2016 because that was another big fluke of the century.
Uh
That
huh.
2016 season.
That hurt my heart even more.
It was oh man, right? Like everybody came out with so many expectations for 27. Let's not go into the past. That's another video. We could do an entire video talking about how the Giants have disappointed us over the years,
For
specifically
sure.
2016 and 2017.
For sure,
But
man.
that's something else. That's something else. But yeah, man, those are really my final thoughts. Please, Giants, give us something to believe in because it's been a
Mm-hmm.
long time since we've had something to believe. That's what I'm asking for.
For sure, man. All right, guys. If you guys like this, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my man Kush, and yeah, we're signing off. We'll see you guys later.
You're